What's going on, guys? PlaybyPlayGaming here, back with another Epic 7 video. Today we're taking on Abyss 100. Yes, we finally did it. It took forever. It took me like 100 plus runs. I don't know how long it took. Not full runs, because I did insta quit as soon as I started off, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. But I did finish it off with the team right in front of you. I don't have TAMISERIA combo. I don't have Lilius for the cleanse. I don't have CDOM. However, I do have Spectre Tenebria and Little Queen Charlotte. So we did use those two. Just as a disclaimer, this is not a free-to-play guide, free-to-play hero team. This is the team that I had access to. Now, of course, once I start talking about the team, feel free to sub in any units that you might have that might work. Like I mentioned right now, Tamarinne, I have her here. S3, amazing with Tamarinne. Lilius is also amazing here just because she's another knight hero and can hold Arius. I have F.Kluri, so she is free to play. If you've seen my other Abyss videos, you know that I have her almost in every single Abyss team, her and Momo. But without further ado, let's take a look at floor 100. All right, so we got floor 100. We're taking on Apoc Ravi, and this floor, it was insane. I restarted and restarted. I tried different team comps, everything. And my roster of heroes is fairly limited, so I don't have too many heroes. However, I recently pulled Little Queen Charlotte. I've been wanting to play with her. I've been testing around RTA, Arena. Said, you know what? I have her built. Let's test her out in Abyss 100. And she did okay. She did her job. So main takeaways from Abyss 100, I would say definitely bring tanky units. You're gonna need heroes that can survive, especially if you let the fight go on once you get to Apoc Ravi. Just because she gets stronger the longer you stay in the fight. So you're gonna need somewhat tanky heroes. Now for this team comp, I did bring Spectre Tenebria, and the mechanic that makes her quote unquote broken or OP for this stage, or super easy for this stage, right, is that she has a passive that hides her from being targeted from any enemy, unless, like, not dual attacks, but double attacks or AoE attacks. So the Lich, she's not hidden from the Lich because he does, like, his attack attacks two people. So usually she gets hit or whatever, it's not too bad. The Dragon, which is right before Ravi, does not target her. It only targets the first 3 units. So that's another reason why it makes this stage really, really easy for her to get to. Now, just again, another disclaimer, just because you have Spectre Tenebria doesn't necessarily mean that this floor is easy at all, by no stretch of the imagination. Now, maybe if you have super OP gear, this floor might be super easy for you, but I had to switch around so much gear, I had to break so many units, but I did it for free. So as you can see, we got the free gear removal up right now. I would definitely recommend that if you want to clear this stage, do it on free gear removal, just because you can try out any comp. Let's start off with the mechanics and some of the damage dealers here that you have to face. So when you start off, you're gonna have to face this Lich guy. This Lich guy is not too bad, except when he starts off, I think it's either him or one of his ads gives blind to your entire team. Does an AoE blind attack. So right away, if blind lands on any of your attackers, on any of your DPS units, yield restart. So for me, there was 2 RNG checks. One was blind landing on my DPS units, so meaning Spectre Tenebria or Little Queen Charlotte. If no blind lands on them, then F.Kluri has to defense break the Lich. If I don't get a defense break on the Lich, it's game over, restart. Just because you have to take him out, otherwise his S3 pretty much nukes your entire team. It brings them down to 1% health, And if you have an Arius holder on your team, that person is gone, and then everybody else attacks, and it's just a wipe. So number one, Lych, clear him out, nuke him out as fast as possible. Stage 2, which is pretty difficult, especially if you're using Spectre Tenebria, is the Onyx Wyvern. So the Wyvern here, what he does is you can't land too many debuffs on him, otherwise he's gonna nuke your team. So other than that, it's not super difficult as long as you get familiar with the mechanics. So his thing, after you get him to 70% health, then he goes into his barrier phase. You have to nuke out that barrier phase, otherwise he's gonna do tons of damage to your team if you don't take him out of the barrier phase. However, you can take the barrier S3 to the face if you have some buffs up. If you have buffs, if you have damage mitigation, that definitely helps. So one thing to note here is that Spectre Tenebria does land debuffs. So on her S1, she lands poison. And the thing with the Wyvern is that if he gets 3 or more debuffs, that's it, that's a wipe. He's gonna nuke your team and it's over. And he gets an extra turn, it's just crazy. So do your best not to land 3 or more debuffs. And that's super easy as long as you build for low effectiveness on Spectre Tenebria. I wouldn't say go 0% effectiveness. I would say maybe stick between 20 to 30-ish effectiveness, just because you still want poison to land on Apoc Ravi because it does so much damage. Now, there were times where I had a defense break and I had a poison and it was Spectre Tenebria's turn. What I tried to do is, if I already had 2 buffs or debuffs on the Wyvern, I made sure I just hit Arky. So that gives me another turn. It gives me that buff. If it's during the barrier phase, it's gonna whittle down that barrier and it's gonna help me tank it once the Wyvern S3. Then you have Apoc Ravi. So Apoc Ravi, her first phase is clear, cut, and simple. She has 2 ads with her, and they're just there to be annoying, right? So she has this purple ad and then she has a yellow one. So they start off like this. They don't have anything too special. This one reduces the recovery rate of your heroes, and then this one, I believe, is the combat readiness. So he reduces your combat readiness. Priority should always be to take out this purple ad, just because he doesn't let you use Tamarinne's CR push or any other any other combat readiness manipulation that you might have on your team. So take him out and then take out this yellow one. After you take out those 2, Apoc Ravi S3s you in the face and then summons 2 more of the same monsters back to back. Once she hits you with the S3, she's gonna summon those 2 ads, and those 2 ads are really, really tanky. So your job is gonna be to take out these ads as quick as possible. Just like you did in the first phase, you're gonna make sure to take out the purple one first. Yeah, so it's just, you take out this purple guy, right? Take out the purple guy, and then take out the yellow guy. So they do hit you with cannot buff, and I think silence. So you can't remove these. So it's just kind of RNG. If silence lands on Tamarinne, it's really, really tough to nuke down that target and get it to be removed and then land it on someone else. So the good thing is that they cannot target Spectre Tenebria, so you should be good. Just make sure if you do keep one alive, I would probably recommend you keep the yellow one alive, just because Tamarinne really needs that CR push in order to get your units going. All right, you got 1 ad and then you got Apoc Ravi. Now what? Next, you're going to make sure that all of your heroes that you built have 100% crit chance. No, just kidding. You don't have to have all of your heroes with 100% crit chance. Now, will it help for Tamarinne to have 100% crit chance? I mean, yes, right? Ideally, in an ideal world, every single hero that you have, when you bring them to floor 100, is gonna have 100% crit chance. But it's not probable that you're going to be able to get all of your units to 100% crit chance. If you have Challenger Domino, that's a whole nother story. If you have her, bring her. I don't have her, but she gives, I think, 50% crit chance. She's going to give you 50% crit chance, so it's pretty much 100% crit chance for all your heroes, right? You want to make sure that your 2 damage dealers or 3 damage dealers that you bring have as close as you can to 100% crit chance. The reason you have to bring 100% crit chance is just because of those buffs. If you don't crit her, I think after 4 times that you don't crit her, then she gets a healing buff and then an anti-crit buff, which is just, it's horrible, okay? Happened to me a couple of times, it's not fun at all. All right, so let me sum it up for you. Here's some musts that you should have to, cannot skip on if you're planning to take on this stage with whatever heroes that you have. Make sure you have some type of buff remover. So someone that strips with high effectiveness. I did have to re-gear my Tamarinne because she had 11% effectiveness and that was not working. You want at least 55 or higher effectiveness on your heroes, just because Apoc Ravi gets an anti-crit buff and a healing buff when you don't crit her. And so you want to make sure that your F.Kluri and your Tamarinne can actually strip that buff. Make sure that you bring some type of damage mitigation or tanky DPS, bruiser DPSs. Apoc Ravi hits hard with her S3. Every time that she S3s you in the face, she gets an attack increase. So make sure that your heroes can survive. That's why I brought Little Queen Charlotte. High HP, I would definitely recommend maybe no less than 12k HP on all of your heroes. I think my Spectre Chamber was maybe at like 9 or 10k HP, just because she's hidden. So that's why she's broken in this stage, right? Make sure that you bring a cleanser. Apoc Ravi, every time that she S3s, she's gonna stun whatever unit she hits. And if that stun lands on Tamarinne or one of your damage dealers, then it's, your turn is over, wasted, and that's just a chance you didn't get to heal yourself. If you do plan on bringing Tamarinne or any other healer, Soul Weaver, make sure that you bring Wondrous Potion Vial. It definitely helps when you don't have a heal up or you don't have a cleanse ready to go. All right, so last up, just a little bit on why this team worked for me. Like I mentioned before, this is what I had access to, so don't feel the need like you have to have these heroes in order to beat the stage. I just used what I had, and I did not finish it my first go around, okay? It took me so many tries, so many times to get it right. So free unequip event, thank you, because without you, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Free unequip event is just OP. I do have the floor clear in this next part of the video. It is somewhat long just because this first part is just a lot to kind of take in. So bear with me. What you can do, I'll leave the timestamps in the details below for each wave. So if you want to skip to those, I'll also put the entire gear, everything that I used, at the very end of this video. So if you're curious to see what my stats were like, what artifacts I use for all of my heroes, I'll have that in the timestamp below. Make sure, like always, you smash the like button if you happen to enjoy this video. Make sure you also subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps the channel grow and reach more people like you who like content like this. Like always, thank you again for tuning in to this video. I wish you good luck on your Abyss Floor 100 clear. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. I'd be definitely willing to help you out with some of your team comps. Like always, thank you for watching. Enjoy the video.